What's up, guys? It's Megan Rogers and
Linda Marcus Smith.
And we are Sassy Broad Squad, and we have Sean McBride.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
It's good to see both of you. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. We went scouring the internet to find information.
Pillaging the internet.
Oh,
yes.
we pillaged
Went
it.
deep
We've been
into
stalking.
the anus of the internet.
we
Yes.
did. We did.
We went clear out to Uranus. And on
Only dark web, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one of the things I found really interesting when scouring for you is that you were with the NFL Network, Sean.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
a huge NFL fan. I want to know about this.
I like the Orlando Blooms.
The Orlando Blooms.
I stole that joke from Amy Schumer. What's up?
What's up? You'll have to source that. I wonder who she got it from. I'm gonna get blacklisted for that now.
I am going to get blacklisted.
Word's gonna get back
I'm
up the
all right
chain.
with it.
He's
It's
not
like-
going to host the Oscars. That's what he's saying. That's
Oh,
what happens when
right.
you get blacklisted.
Oh, that yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm no longer Oscar eligible. That's actually one of my dreams in life, and I just blew it. Like that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be in consideration like 10 years from now. Sean McBride's hosting the Oscars, and then they dig up like, actually,
He was on Sassy Broad
March
Squad.
21st, 2019. Do you remember saying on the Sassy Broads podcast? No!
And he
I'm
jumps
sorry.
off a bridge.
I
got bit by the Sassy
We're
Broads.
good at messing up lives.
We might look nice to your face, but behind your back.
What did you in? Was it the Me Too movement? No, it was the Sassy Broads.
I love this.
That sounds about right.
I want to know about the NFL Network. What did you do for
the
that?
NFL Network
So
was great. It was my first like real, well, not my first job after college, but it was like my first like, okay, like this is pretty cool. And I got it. It was I got that it was an alumni from my college, Syracuse. Who this is how much you both mean to me. I'm doing this, and Syracuse is playing in the NCAA tournament right now.
Wow.
And I'm talking to the Sassy Broads because I want to remain on your guys' good side.
You
is
went to
awesome.
Syracuse.
Yes.
You're a smart motherfucker.
Well,
Yeah, no,
I don't know about
don't sit there and downplay it. I'm like the stupid one in my family, and yeah, Syracuse. That's some.
we
good
just have
shit.
you just know us because of sports. Like we're always like we'll pop up for sports.
Y'all are math nerds too, because my sister's a math nerd.
And did she go?
No, she couldn't get in.
She couldn't get
Sorry,
in?
Gracie. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus.
Gracie. I hope that wasn't a fresh wound, Gracie. Sorry.
She makes
Gracie.
plenty of money. She's fine.
All right. Gracie's killing it.
Yeah, she's killing
and
it
I
as
need
a
a loan,
statistician.
Gracie.
See, we have NBC Sports Northwest here
Uh-huh.
in Portland, and they probably interviewed you when you got here, or they will before the end of the weekend.
That would be lovely. If they
Yeah.
would like to talk to me, I'd be happy to
They
chat
do
with them.
for the comics that come through.
You got that?
And I submitted to be considered as a comic
yeah?
because one of our comics is on there, Shane Brendan. And so sports reporting is right up my alley.
Oh,
and there's
nice.
nothing that drives me more nuts than men talking about sports, because I will come up with more ways to derail the conversation. I thought it would be great. Not so much. So what did you do with the NFL Network?
Well, the NFL Network, the way that came about, I didn't, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a sportscaster. That was my dream. I wanted to be one of the funny guys on SportsCenter. Like,
Nice.
remember back in the day when it was kind of more of an event than it is now. Just coming back from that, we're like, that I remember still like waking up to read the sports page to find
Absolutely.
out like how the Red Sox did if it was a West Coast game and my parents wouldn't let me stay up late,
Wow.
And so I loved that, and I was always really good at like retaining statistics and just doing all that. And Syracuse is known for a really good broadcast journalism program that I did not get into. I was rejected, and so I wound up doing the College of Arts and Sciences, where I did history, political science, and African American studies.
Wow.
Well, then why aren't you running
Interestingly-
for president, bro?
Because if I got behind the veil, I feel like you go in with good intentions, and
Yeah.
then you get behind the curtain and realize all the different ways you can legally fuck other people over.
Yeah.
And I just get caught up in it.
Yeah.
I that the same way everyone else does.
Right.
And so I just figure I'm good. I'll just be a regular citizen. No, like, because I think there's a lot of good that I would love to do, but like just political office. I quote my nana when they're all crooks.
Yeah,
like they are both sides. I think they're
they're both equally.
It's like I can't stand politicians.
Yeah.
I think it's like at the end of the day, like I want to get promoted in what I'm doing. Like that's my nature. I want to rise as high as I possibly can.
Right.
And so part of the reason why it's like I try not to let myself get too carried away with politics, because I did back when I was in college. It would be very easy to get worked up about stuff. It's just like, how can they just want to get to the highest possible office themselves. Like that's all they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so my attitude is it's just like, stop expecting these people to fully have your best interest. Just recognize, like,
what it is.
be informed enough that you're picking the one that's gonna fuck us all over the least.
Yeah.
Like,
when I vote, I choose the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find a good one. It's the lesser.
I know. It sucks. So I studied a lot of that, and it was kind of like, it was good in the sense that I've always, tried things out and like, let's see how this fits.
Yeah.
Would I like doing this? Would I want to maybe get into politics? And just kind of like, you see it and it's like, this isn't for me.
Right.
And I was still, because I didn't get into the communication school, I was like afforded, like I just got to take a bunch of classes of stuff that I liked and was interested in.
Yeah.
And so I did that while I was also working at the TV station at school as the football reporter. And so I was like kind of like getting to just experience everything.
Right.
And the really cool thing, I took over the summer, my dad was working at a radio station in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I took letterhead off of his desk and typed up a letter saying I was the sports director of the radio station, and then submitted and got myself a press pass to cover the Red Sox and Celtics on winter break. And so
you're my hero. I love that shit.
I got myself in and like was able, like at 18 and 19, to kind of like get a glimpse of this is what my future would be if I continue on. Like I would be one of these, and I got to do it and went in thinking like this is the best thing ever. And by the time I was graduating, I kind of had like experienced it all and known I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. Like I had done it, and it's like I always would look at things like, if I'm doing this 30 years from now, how would I be feeling? And so I'm in there with all these sportscasters, men, women. They've been doing it like that. This is them 30 years, and they were all burnt out. They all were like, this is totally work. I'm in there excited, like, I can't fucking believe I'm in the locker room, son. And they're like, oh my God, when can I get the fuck out of here? And I'm just like, how are you not loving every second of this? And so I graduated, and it was like right at the end of graduation, a bunch of alumni had come back to Syracuse. And I knew one of the guys was like an LA guy. His name was John Beck, and he was like a writer, producer, still is out in LA. And I was going to school with his younger sister. And so he was like 10 years ahead of us and like would come back to party. And he came back with a bunch of alumni, but it was during finals week. And so nobody wanted to party.
Right.
Except me, the fucking Newhouse reject who didn't give a fuck anymore. It was like, I'm done. Like, I've finished everything. Like, and so I took these guys out and got them hammered every single night. And
that's the best
I was
way
like
to get
getting
to
up
know
at
anybody.
like get like done at 2, get up at 6, like pound water, start studying, like cram, test at 9, like take it, just regurgitate it, go home, sleep, back out. And like just kind of like going into it with like, if I get a C, I'm fucking good.
C's
I
get
just gotta
degrees.
get a C. Yeah, like I was just like, I just gotta get a 70. I cannot bring mom home a D. Like she'll be so like, because like my brothers would get D's, and so it was like if I just fly above, like, well, he's not, like they'd already like, if you guys are gonna fucking lower that bar, like I just don't want to get yelled at. And so I took, and one of these guys was a producer at Fox Sports at the time, and I got like a call like 6 months after I had graduated, and he was like, last time I saw you, I was getting on an airplane, and I was like going back to New York, and I was so fucking hungover. And I kept thinking, like, that kid was so cool who, like, totally blew off all of his finals to, like, ensure we had a good time. And he was like, and I was like, if I get a chance, like, I'm going to hire him. And he was like, I just got a job at the NFL Network, and I've got to staff the newsroom. And like, he's like, I think you'd be good. And I was like, all right, like, sweet. Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I had worked, like, I just got done. I'd like worked as like the pre and post game show host for a minor league baseball team. Like, in the season it ended, and I was kind of like, what am I going to do? And I had like kind of was like at my like realizing like, all right, that job ended, and I was like, I'm gonna have to like get a resume tape and like start applying for jobs and like market 250 out. And I remember saying like out in bumfuck Idaho was what, like I'm just gonna go out there to like get back, because I had just been like in Brooklyn, and I was like in New York, and I had the comedy bug.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine had moved out to LA, and he's now a writer on Family Guy.
Oh.
And he was like a PA at the time, but we had gone to school together, and we wrote a script like over AOL Instant Messenger. Like, he would write a part, I'd write a part, and then we'd talk about it and like, you know, copy and paste and send each other shit and then write something. And it was like I started carrying around a notebook and writing down like funny thoughts, and it was like one of those where it's like every funny thing that happened to me like was in the script the next day.
Nice.
And I just kind of like, it's like I have no life experiences other than what happened just right now. And so it was, and afterwards I had this notebook that like had all this like funny stuff, and that didn't make it in, but a lot of it was because I was like, this like feels like it would be a good stand-up bit, and I had always loved stand-up. And my thought was like, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to go back to New York. And then the phone rings with the NFL Network job in LA. And so I just decided, I'm like, I'll get this job at the NFL Network, and I'm going to start stand-up. And I actually did my first open mic before I even started the job.
Wow.
And then did the job, and it was like the longest 3 years ever, because I knew like once I like did it, I was addicted.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to get better at it. And I reached that breaking point. I'm like, if I keep giving 45 hours a week to this fucking place,
Yeah.
even though like the people were cool and I liked the job and everyone was like, NFL Network, that's like my dream job.
Yeah.
You know, I hear that all the time, and I was like, but you know, it was still just like it got monotonous, and it was just the same thing over and over again, and I knew I wasn't going to get any better at stand-up unless I figured out a way to go out on the road. And
Yeah.
Right.
so I quit, and I'd saved up money, and like by the graces of God, the HR person, Kelly Schmidt, I'll never forget her, because I applied for unemployment even though I quit. And she looked the other way on it. And I got like 2 years at the height of when Obama kept extending it and people were getting pissed.
Yeah.
Like, how dare he fucking do this? And I'm just like, go,
Yay.
Obama, go. Go, Obama, go.
Right?
Because I kept thinking of like, this is it. Like, all right, we're going to have to.
Yeah.
And then it's like, next thing you know, like extension, and I'm getting back checks.
Nice.
And it totally was one of those things where it was like it came across her desk, like it's 100% on her to blow the whistle on it, and she did it. And the reason she didn't, and I never got a chance to thank her for it, when I was there, I would do the bringer shows that they would have at like the clubs, and I'd have to get people there, and like the NFL Network people were always so supportive. Everybody was always like, Sean, you gotta go for it. Like,
Cool.
when are you gonna? And so she would come like all the time, and then she wound up like getting a job not long after that in Kentucky, and like left. But it was like the paperwork was already done. It was like nobody was checking, and so I just kept getting, and that was at that same time
Awesome.
I started going on the road, and it was like it's impossible to get past that, like where you're just featuring, like the money's so terrible, you have to have something else. And so it was like I was able to just commit to it for 2 years because I had this base of $450 that was for 2 years, and it was like by the time it had done, it was like I had enough connections where it was like I was making just enough money to keep going. And like it would involve like I had to stay out on the road for like months at a time, like be gone for months, and then be like subletting my room in LA and making money that way. It was just like a constant never-ending hustle.
Oh my gosh.
People have no idea the commitment it takes to be an opener, feature, headliner, being on the road. How that
You
plays
have
into
to
your
get
personal-
breaks. Like that's why I say it. It's like I was super lucky.
Yeah. The stars aligned.
Like
Yeah.
just like I would have never, because everyone's like, I need to do more road work, and it's just like, okay, like you're gonna have to drive like, 1,000 miles for $100 a couple times, like, like you always, because if you don't have TV credits,
Yeah.
You have to. It's all relationships, and there's a ton of great comics out there, like
Right,
a
right.
million great comics. It's like you've gotta be pulling your weight, like if you're gonna be getting one of the pay spots.
Yeah.
So it's all like going there and reputation and getting recommendations from like other good comics that are in the rotation, because it's always like you have too many comics bomb, like
Yeah.
all that gig's gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you mentioned earlier, you said that there are so many like great comics on the East Coast, and I had no idea.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
There are. That's the nice thing about all the road work I have done, and I've worked primarily like the western half of the country, which is very spread out.
Yeah.
It's like you have lots of like epically long patches of nothing in between cities, is what like the western half of the country is, and then everything in the eastern half is much closer.
Yeah.
And so there's a ton of stage time back east, but also a ton of comics. There's like lots of regional comics that are able to headline and like work gigs, like headlining gigs, and have to fill up their calendars within 2-3 hours drive of their home, and they're able to maintain full-time jobs and be headline. And so it's like they'll dominate areas and regions. There's lots of regional comics, road dogs that only work the Southwest, not the Southwest so much. A lot of the LA comics work the Southwest because it's easily drivable. Anything that you can drive within 10 hours of LA, like most people are willing to do.
Vegas and
or
Reno. Yeah.
Vegas, Phoenix, Bay Area.
Yeah.
It's an easy shot to fly up to Portland, fly up to Seattle, that kind of thing.
Portland,
Yeah, I
PDX.
drove. Yeah, I
You
love
drove?
PDX. I drove. Well, because I was in San Francisco on Tuesday, and then
okay,
Reading last night, and then I got here today, like maybe 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
So do you notice any big difference doing comedy in San Francisco and then Portland? Or is that like
But San Francisco and
people?
Portland, yeah. I mean, it depends on the crowd.
Right.
I mean, it's hard I can make assumptions about a city, but a lot of times I can.
Spill the tea. Spill it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just paying attention to what's happening in the room and seeing how they're reacting. Like, I always try and listen to the other comics and see how the crowd is responding to their material. Like,
exactly?
they will tip their hands. Wow, this crowd loves marijuana. Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I'll hear that they're responding to that, and I'll start thinking in my head, like, let me dial up all my drug humor,
Yep.
Sometimes, like, the comic on before me makes a drug joke and it crickets, and I know this is a much cleaner crowd, and I'm bringing them the family set, the cruise ship set.
Yes.
It's at the end of the day, it's about being professional and giving the crowd, give them what they want. Like, I'm not one of those comics that's like, all right, there's someone in the crowd that very clearly doesn't want to hear something. I mean, if they're too uptight, I mean, that's on them. Like, you shouldn't have come.
Exactly.
But, like, I'm also not going to be one of those people that's like, I'm going to go at them. Like, I'm going to be as dirty as possible.
Yeah, that's cool, because I don't like it when comics are like, oh, you're not laughing, well, let me, like, split you a new asshole.
Yeah,
it's like, goddamn, calm down,
Yeah. I usually go, like, more the self-deprecating route in those
Same,
situations.
That's the way we
same,
both are.
yeah.
Yeah, my line is, like, you guys know I'm a human being with feelings, right? Like, I have to go home afterwards and deal with, like...
Right.
I literally threw myself on the ground and broke a rib to make a 2-year-old laugh in a nursery room. And I should be doing comedy. If I'm willing to go that far.
That's way too much effort, though.
Yeah,
way too much effort. You
My
shouldn't have
hat's
done
off to
that.
her. I wouldn't do that.
I applaud your commitment, but
Yeah.
She needed to laugh. She was
that
crying.
2-year-old didn't deserve it.
She didn't appreciate
She
it.
didn't deserve it.
She did.
She has no idea how good
She's
she has
two.
it.
Yeah.
She's got it so good.
She's good. If you're out there, little girl, you didn't deserve that
Here's-
shit.
I'm going to show you something that's going to melt both of you.
Oh, I can't wait.
So
Melt me, baby.
I announced it on stage. My brother just had my second nephew,
Aw.
Ryan. He had Connor and Ryan, and
These
this
are
is
great
he sent me this picture today.
Oh,
That's
my God.
Connor.
Oh my God! Look at
Can we get
how
that?
cute.
Look at that,
Oh my gosh. What a doll.
Adorbs. Let me see.
Connor and Ryan. I had to bust that out. I'm very excited about that picture.
No, I'm the same with my niece and nephew. I'm just so in love with those little turd burglars.
And Connor's so like cool about it. Like is super pumped to be a big brother. Even though he went into it like the whole, because my brother and sister-in-law, they didn't find out the sex until came out. You know?
Oh, they wanted to keep it a surprise?
They wanted to keep it a surprise.
Awesome.
Nice.
And so the whole pregnancy, Connor was hoping it was going to be a baby sister.
Aww.
He wanted a baby sister so bad.
Really?
And so it was kind of a concern of like, is he going to just like revolt? Because when my brother Kelly, we're Irish twins. Like I'm only 15 months older than him.
Oh,
I'm only Irish twins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm only so I have no memories like without him being there, just like annoying me.
Yeah.
And like I was not happy about him being there. And there was my first time out that I ever got was because my mom thought I was leaning in and kissing Kelly when he was like in his bassinet. And then all of a sudden the baby started crying hysterically. And she's like, what the fuck happened? And she went in there and saw bite marks on his head. I was biting him.
You bit the kid?
I bit his fucking bald head.
Damn.
Yeah.
that's some
And
dope
then-
stuff.
And then I remember when my youngest brother Patrick was born.
You bit his ass too?
No, I didn't bite his ass, but like I'm 6 years older than Pat, so I was like very much on the grid at that point. And like I remember it was after one of my baseball games, my parents sat us down and said like we're gonna
biting
have
each other.
no,
you
yeah,
fucking
we're gonna
jerks.
you're gonna have another baby, and you better not fucking bite his head. But I remember like thinking like kind of like I was already like I felt like I had whipped Kelly into shape. Like I was physically dominant over him.
You bit his ass.
I
into
did. Well,
shape.
I mean, it was just like I could dominate him. Like he wouldn't touch my toys. Like, because he knew I would beat him.
Yeah.
Like it was like
You
I had
showed
like I
teeth.
finally like had it where it was just like it's taken forever. Like in my it has taken my entire fucking life to get his ass in line. And like I remember like because I was like putting some distance on me, and it was just like beating him.
Would you
just,
show
like,
your teeth to him? Like, I'll bite you.
yeah. It was just like, and he was.
love
It was mind control. Like it wasn't just
Jedi.
physical. I could mentally break him whenever I wanted as well. So I was just holding
Like
so many
Hannibal
cards
Lecter.
where I could dominate him on all fronts. And I just remember like when my mom was like, we're going to have another baby. And I'm like thinking like, like,
Again,
are you
all that
fucking
work.
kidding me? Like I just got Kelly fucking in line. Like, and now like
Kelly's
we're going to have
younger,
another.
right?
Yeah, he's younger. He's 15 months
I
younger.
think why I'm laughing so hard is because I'm the older one too.
Yeah,
and I used to beat
it's
the shit out of my poor
yeah,
little sister.
it was just like it was they're
I'm having
you know.
flashbacks. I was the youngest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Kelly had middle child syndrome.
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah.
Those middle
But
children.
there was like a week after that where I was so pissed. Like, just like remember, like I had a bad attitude about it. I'm like, this is so fucked. Like this, like I'm like, we had a good thing going. Like 4 is fine. 5 is too much. 5. Like it was just like but like you think about it, like I'm 6 years old at that time. Maybe finding out about it, and I'm like upper 5. Like kind of like it's like drastic. It's like another fucking person. Like I have to deal with somebody else fucking with my toys. Like, are you kidding me? Like I was just so mad about it. And then, but like they're my best friends now.
Yeah.
Like it's like I couldn't imagine not having either of them.
right.
But it was just it's just funny thinking about how much like they would just drive you nuts. And I think it's just that living under the same roof has a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
My sister would steal my jeans. It used to piss me the fuck off. Now we like dig crap out of each other's teeth. I'm like, I think I got spinach in there.
I hated.
She's like, show me.
I hated when Kelly would wear my clothes.
Oh yeah.
That would drive me fucking nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it was something I paid money for.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause he wound up we got to be where like we were the same size, and then I went away to college, and the first time I came back, and it was like I will never be able to beat Kelly up again. Like, it was just like there's no way this is ever happening. Like, he had gotten so big. It was like the star of the wrestling team. Like, I was always very good. Like, the guy, like, coach's award, Sean. Like, Kelly, MVP. Like, thank God we have Kelly. Like, Kelly's
your thunder,
here.
dude.
Yeah. I mean, that, like, I would always joke about that, like, because I loved high school. I had so much fun. And then I was like, I went back. I remember because my baseball team had won the league championship, and we got these coats, and you wouldn't get them till the next year. So, like, I had to go back to the school even though I had graduated, because I was like, I have forever wanted one of those fucking jackets. Like, I got it. Like, I don't care that I've got. Like, I want the fucking jacket.
Yeah.
What position did you play?
I was a catcher.
Oh, that's
Nice.
not easy. How are your knees?
They're better. They're much better. They were awful. Fuck. Syracuse lost.
Sorry, darling.
Yeah, I mean, 9 points, but
Do you need a hug? I mean, I'll hug you.
I need another drink. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us about being from Western New England. I found that very funny. She and I.
Wilbraham, Massachusetts, home of Friendly's ice cream.
I thought maybe you were trying to hide the fact that you were from Ohio.
Yeah.
I was like,
No.
I was suspicious.
Interestingly enough, the McBride. The McBride side of the family. My dad, it was Lawrence McBride and Lois Sullivan are my grandparents, and so it was the Sullivans and McBrides. I'm Sean Sullivan. So it was the McBrides and the Sullivans from Ohio. So, like, the origin, like, our family, like, you need to work the psychic angle into this as well. We'll get some more.
I mean, I got some tarot cards. I'll make this shit happen.
The Psychic Sassy Broads podcast, like, just keep adding to it. But yeah, we were from everybody, so we would have I would always go back to family reunions in Cleveland. And I would see, like, it would be every, like, few years. Like, I probably only went to, like, 4 of them.
Yeah.
And it was the only time I saw a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And so I remember, my dad, like, 'cause my grandparents, Lois and Larry, they moved to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then they were, like, in New Jersey. And so it was my dad and my Uncle Tim. My Uncle Tim, who had 5 boys. And then the last one was a girl. And then their second child was my cousin Sean. Who's the other Sean McBride, interestingly enough. Same grade, same age. He's one of my best friends in the world. Wicked funny dude. He's in sales. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's almost a comic.
Travel sales.
It's basically a comic, right, when you're in sales.
Yeah, travel sales. And so I've actually met up with him in so many different cities that I've been in. Like, he always is in Seattle. Like, I've met up with him in Portland, Vegas a bunch of times. It's always...
Oh, Vegas.
It's always great. And I remember, like, we were at one of these family reunions, and it was, like, high school, and, like, there's always a family softball game, and we're all, like, playing sports and, like, just fucking smashing home runs and, like, clearly, like, the studs of this family fucking reunion. And this girl that I can't even remember what her name was, but it was a cousin, and she was, like, flirting, like, trying to flirt with the other Sean McBride.
What?
And, like, he wasn't flirting with her, like, but it was, like, very clearly flirting. And I remember him just saying, like, you know this is a family reunion, right? Like, just asking her flat out. Like, it was just like
I have to admit, I have a cousin that I'm kind of
seeing.
I'm sweet on him. Yeah. He's married, but, you know, we won't mention any names. Mm-hmm. I'll leave
this was like, it was a distant cousin thing. It was like, you know.
Oh, no, first cousin. I'm going to be like a Lannister about it, you know.
My parents were only children, so I don't know what a cousin is.
That's like the Game of Thrones corollary. Inbreeding is in right now.
It is.
Everybody, after Cersei and Jaime, everyone wants to fuck their hot cousin.
Yeah, hey. I started it first because I was feeling it when I was 19.
The original Cersei.
I will have you strangled in your sleep.
Queen Cersei and the Psychic Sassy Broads podcast.
Right. And the lady.
We just keep adding to it.
Yeah, right.
And the lady with no cousins.
Yeah. And the cousin.
You can have one of mine.
Yeah.
I want you to. both of us would love for you to cover the things that you have going on in your life right now besides talking over people.
I know. It's the show let out. If you can't, these people are fired up right now. That's how awesome that was. It was jam capacity in there, seats 300. There was like 375. Fire marshal showed up. Howard, the owner, was just like, no, you're on the payroll. Get the fuck out of here. We're making our whole month right now on a fucking Thursday. Don't do me like this.
You sound like a bunch of hecklers.
What? Oh, the crowd? They're just
having fun. They're getting drunk.
No,
Boomer's,
I mean in there they were
here.
quiet.
Boomer, the host, is here.
Boomer!
Did they bring my salad? Did they bring my salad to the?
Yeah, man, your salad.
Is it just sitting in the green room?
Wall took some of your salad.
Fuck!
Yeah,
I'm starving.
All right, well,
Get it. We want to close this up with you.
What kind of?
I want to know what you're doing right now.
I've got right now. I produced a movie this past year, and it's really cool. It's on Amazon Prime right now. It's called Live. And basically what it is, it's essentially like a new age found footage film, and it's like a woman gets abducted on Facebook Live. And it was inspired by when that Philando Castile guy got shot. And
was it that dude from American Pie, John Cho, or?
He did. Yeah, Searching.
Ooh.
He did that movie that was like, and this came out. That came out like
okay.
They also had like the dark web, Unfriended, the dark web.
Yeah.
So there's been several things in this genre. The difference between those movies and what we did is we actually operated a fake Facebook account for 2 years. We created this woman, Linda Johnson, and we had her. It was the director's wife who actually closed down her Facebook page, and we had her like posting and interacting with people. She got over 3,000 friends. And we wanted to build it up where it was like she was, where you see her, where it's like she's live streaming.
Yeah.
And we set up her eventual abduction. But what we have it where it's like, we were basing it off a lot of true stuff that actually happens. Like there's a lot of open cases, like especially like black orphan children, 15, 16-year-olds in Washington, D.C. Like human trafficking is a major industry. It's like so much money is made off of it, and it's swept under the rug, and it's like it happens constantly, especially and so what we did is we created this character, Linda Johnson, who she comes up in the foster system, but gets out of it, like puts herself through school, becomes a social worker, and she gets out of an abusive relationship. And she opens up her Facebook page and like starts streaming, becoming like I'm going to do lots of her mission in life is to help other women that are coming out of situations like hers.
Yeah.
But in the process of doing this, she's also divulging that she's by herself. She doesn't have family.
Yeah.
All these things that like make her a perfect mark to get abducted.
Right.
And so she's streaming when she gets abducted, and kind of the whole point we were trying to make was that like this shit happens all the time and nothing fucking happens from it.
Right.
And so we have her get abducted on Facebook Live, and the movie itself, like we created all the source footage through the Facebook page. Like we had shot everything on a 4K camera and then rigged it so we could do it. There was like a lot of crazy stuff. We had to create her license because Facebook thought she was a fake person a couple times, and we had to like Photoshop a license and pay somebody to do it.
Wow.
I forgot like whose birthday we put. Did I put Kelly's birthday or did I put mine? And it was like a guess. I was like, I think I put mine. Like July 28th, 83, like hoping, and they were like, all right, she is that person. And I was like, yeah. And so we created the source footage for it and operating this Facebook page. But then the movie was we have a private investigator who it's like his footage, him piecing together this investigation and bringing it to the cops if he knows where she's being held. And basically she's being auctioned off on the dark web for like a snuff film where she's going to get murdered on and this stuff happens.
Yeah,
so we were basing it off of real events. And so that's the movie, is him bringing it to the cops, and it's like that all build up to the end of do they find or do they not. It's kind of like a modern day Blair Witch kind of thing, but all based on real stuff. So that I was in it. I play one of the hackers that like helps find where she's at, like this vigilante dude, and it was really cool. Not at all funny, like not at all funny, but That said, I do have. I recently the guy that was the director of the movie. He and I, he's my writing partner, business partner. We started a production company, and we just launched about a month ago a channel on YouTube, The Laugh Bureau, at The Laugh Bureau, and it's a really cool. What we're doing is producing a lot of comedy content. We built a studio with a green screen, and kind of what the hope is with this is like the way you monetize on YouTube is you have to have a certain amount of like hundreds of thousands of hours of views of your content.
4,000.
Yeah, it's like it's an insane number, and
Yeah.
they keep changing it because they want to keep the money in house with like the YouTubers that are already like under contract with them, or the big studios that are actively paying money to promote their channels.
Right.
When you're a comic that's putting your own shit out there, you're swimming upstream, you're running uphill. We launched this channel to be kind of a place where it's like, I want to get comics releasing stuff through this. I live in LA, so I run a show. I've got access to lots of great comics, but like doing it in a way where it's like there's a revenue, like where it's like the comic is earning money off of this for the duration of this video being out there.
Nice.
And so the more comics putting their content through this one channel, you're able to build up a subscriber base through constantly putting up content. That's like a one way where you can grow it, is just regularly putting stuff up. So we do lots of original content like sketches, web series, reaction videos, stand-up clips. There's lots of old stand-up sets where it's like we're going to be releasing clips like stuff from the 80s, but it'll be like a minute clip that's like still relevant now, but like putting it out there.
Right.
But the idea being if everybody kind of teams up and puts their stuff through on one, you build up this massive subscriber base where eventually every video that goes out will automatically have ads put on it.
Right.
And you're automatically getting paid off of what you do versus putting stuff out there for free that's only helping link to the other people that are getting paid but not you.
Right.
So the idea is essentially a comedy collective, but something, because we live in this like buyout age where it's like for commercials, like they used to get residuals and like now it's like $500 buyout, and people are just so desperate to do stuff that they'll take it and they don't realize like you're screwing yourself over. Right. And so this is just something to ensure where it's like any comic that I work with, it's like they're always going to get money off of whatever they're doing. Right. And by everybody putting it out together, you build the subscriber base together, and then they're the ones that are like their eyeballs are what get the money to it. And so it's like if everybody's putting in it, it's everybody helping each other. And, ideally, my hope is it being something where it's like, just allow the artist to take the power back. Right. And not be susceptible to the studios and the agents. There's a lot of people who make money off of comics that have no, they should have no stake in the game. Why are you getting a cut? And this is kind of like, just let comics go be funny and do what they do. And so I'm really excited about that. If anybody wants to find it, it's on Instagram at The Laugh Bureau, The Laugh Bureau on YouTube. Please find it on there.
Subscribe to The Laugh Bureau.
There's lots of really cool, funny stuff on there already. We've been releasing sketches, and it's really innovative stuff.
I'll link The Laugh Bureau.
Please
below.
do. And then I'm on there at Sean S. McBride, SEAN, the correct Irish spelling.
Absolutely.
We got Donald Trump here in the office.
He's going to get kicked in the balls tonight. So.
Oh, nice.
We're so
lovely,
glad to have
lovely.
had you. You're
This was
amazing.
so much fun. I had a wonderful time.
Great.
We did.
The Sassy Brats.
Sassy.
You guys are great in my book.
You are. We love you.
Yes.
You're adorbs. I can't get enough.
We're going to be friend requesting you.
Please friend request me.
I will.
Tag.
I will tag the shit out of
I have
that
had
ass.
a wonderful time. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
Great. Sean McBride, y'all.
Come down from
Thanks for
Portland to
tuning
hear him.
in.
Come on down to Harvey.